Hello and welcome to the Hotshot podcast. I am Alex Richard, and it's just me today, a little bit different. Me and Jacob will be recording an episode later on this week that we will have out talking about the NBA playoffs. But I wanted to hop on real quick. This isn't going to be a long episode, to be honest. But I wanted to talk about Nuggets Lakers game 3 and the Heat Celtics game 2 and looking forward to game 3. Let's start Nuggets Lakers. So the Nuggets pick up the win 119 to 108, and they are 2 wins away from their first ever NBA Finals. A funny stat is the teams that go up 3-0 are 149 and 0 in the series. So it looks like this shit is over, if I'm being honest. Jamal Murray, amazing in the first half. He had 30 first half points. He was on another level. He only finished with 37 points, which is actually kind of low. Um, Schroeder played very good defense on him in the second half, but it wasn't enough. Um, Jokic actually started off really slow. The foul trouble, man, that call that Jokic had on AD that Mike Malone challenged and it wasn't overturned was brutal, man. Jokic did not hit him, and Scott Foster still decided that was a foul. Not a fan of that call. And Michael Porter Jr. career high 6 assists. Mr. Never Swing the Rock Porter decided to turn it on. Just a really complete win for the Lakers, to be honest. I mean, for the Nuggets. Um, KCP was great. He has been so elite, and the Lakers losing KCP is so underrated, and he was easily the best role player that they had on that championship team in 2020. And Bruce Brown off the bench was awesome. Jeff Green played good minutes. Their 8-man rotation that they've been sticking to throughout this entire postseason has been so effective and so efficient, and they're about to go to their first finals, I think. I said three wins away earlier. They are 1 win away because it's game 3. But let's talk about the Lakers. I'm going to start with the positives, right? Well, this is a positive and a negative. Austin Reeves has been fucking amazing, man. He's been so good, and he's about to get paid this offseason. I laughed when these reports of Austin Reeves is going to get like $80 million a year. In the current era of the NBA, where role players are so important, he has been elite this postseason. And the depth guys that they have, at least 2 of them, like Austin Reeves. So have this, right? Austin Reeves was averaging 13 points a game in the regular season, and now he is averaging 23. With the Lakers, after they acquired Rui Hachimura, Rui was averaging 9.6 points a game, and now he's averaging 17 a game. They have been so good for the Lakers, and it says a lot about the Nuggets and how these other Lakers players are playing, that after all of this and Rui and Reeves are playing so great, they're still down 0-3 and on the verge of being swept. It's not good, man. Like, that D'Lo trade, like, you get Vanderbilt, but of the 3 guys that you traded Westbrook for, Vanderbilt's the only one that's been somewhat of a positive, and he still can't shoot. Malik Beasley was supposed to be your sharpshooter, and Devin Ham has just not played him, and you can't play him. It's bad, man. D'Lo in this conference finals is averaging 7 points a game. He's shooting 29% from the field and 14% from 3. That is so bad for a guy who was a former All-Star and was expected to be the 3rd shot creator on his team. He can't buy a shot, and the Lakers, there were reports that they are worried about bringing him off the bench because it will kill his morale. But at this point, you need to switch something up for this next game 4. Like, you need to do something different. You can't stick with the same shit. AD's been pretty good overall. Like, he had this down game 2, but he was still playing aggressive, put up 18, but he was just inefficient, honestly. And then he had a great game yesterday, 28 and 18, I believe. Game 1, he was unstoppable, but it's just not working. And LeBron, man, he has not been good. He's just not been good. Honestly, he's getting old, and he's favoring the 3-point shot, and he made his first threes in game 3. He didn't make a single 3 throughout game 1 and 2. And on the series, he's shooting 3 for 19, which is 16% from 3. This entire year, the Lakers' biggest issue has been their spacing. And It is just not improved, and LeBron is not helping. D'Lo has been awful. The only positive shooter on this team really is Austin Reeves, and he's been elite, but they just don't give him enough shots. He had 20, I think it was 22 game 3, the most recent game as of recording, and he only took 10 shots. Darvin Ham has to get him going. It has to give him more shots. I don't understand why he isn't shooting the ball more and why their game plan isn't running more Austin Reeves, LeBron pick and rolls, or Austin Reeves with the ball in his hand more, or LeBron posting up and running off ball action like floppy to get Austin Reeves open. It just doesn't make sense to me. But the Lakers are in trouble looking towards this offseason. They are reportedly planning on matching Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura's offers, any offers that they get in the offseason, which makes sense. They have to, otherwise they're screwed. But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see how the Lakers try to retool this offseason. Because you have to admit, you need more shot creators now that LeBron is getting old. Like, you could rely on just getting like spot up shooters and defensive guys when LeBron was able to take over games with his slashing and his aggressiveness. And we tried to say, like, oh, maybe it's the high altitude that's messing with LeBron. Nah, man, it's age. He's still a very, very above average player, and he's still very, very good. Excuse me. But he's not the same anymore, and he's relying on the three-point jumper a lot more now, and when the Lakers were successful in the earlier 2 rounds, it was Austin Reeves with the ball and LeBron playing off ball a lot of the time until it was late in the 4th, and so that way LeBron had his energy to cook. They just don't have that, and I said beforehand in a TikTok that I made, follow the TikTok, by the way, that they were able to handle, but they really didn't. And I said just they don't have the guard play to match up with Jamal Murray, and he has been amazing. And AD, they tried the switching Rui on AD on and they tried switching Rui on Jokic so they could have AD just roam around in the paint. And I thought that was the answer, quoting Jimmy Butler. But it's not. They need more. They need a lot more if they want to win this series. It's not going to happen. The Nuggets are going to the finals, and I think they should be the favorites to beat any team, either it's the Heat or the Celtics to beat them in the finals. They're just really good and complete, and those 8 guys, include other than like Christian Brown, but he's a rookie and he still does his part. I don't know, and Mike Malone has been an excellent coach with his adapt like switches, like Jokic deciding to do the Jamal Murray pick and roll in the 4th quarter really torched the Lakers up. I don't know. I think it's over, clearly. It's never happened before. And let me go on a little rant here, even though that's what this episode has been. I'm not a fan of how, like, Mike Malone had a quote about how he was mad about how the media is covering this series, and he's 100% right. If I was the 1 seed and I was beating the shit out of LeBron and AD and the Lakers, I'd be pissed if no one was covering it either. Bleacher Report yesterday after the game posted that fucking image of LeBron with the glasses on, like, no team has ever come back from down 0-3. Dude, how about we post that the number 1 seed has been coasting throughout this entire postseason, and now we're up 3-0 and are about to go to their first NBA Finals. And all these fans that are fickle and like, "Ugh, who's gonna watch this series? It's gonna be Nuggets Heat or Nuggets Celtics? This is bad for the NBA." Grow up. Like, why do you don't care about the ratings, you just care about that your team is there. It's not a hot take, you're not being special. Knock it off. It's gonna be good. The Heat have been the best team in the Eastern Conference throughout the entire playoffs this postseason, and the Nuggets have been the best team in the Western Conference throughout the entire playoffs, and both teams are somewhat healthy. I know Tyler Hero is out, but they're playing good without him, and it's just gonna be a good matchup. Jokic, Bam, Jimmy Jamal, and just both teams with role players that are cooking. We'll talk about the Heat in a bit, but it's just going to be a really good series, and I don't understand why everyone's so like the ratings are stupid. It doesn't matter. You don't care. You're just saying you care because you were hoping to bandwagon for the Lakers or Celtics. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. All I got for the Lakers. Let's move on to Heat Celtics game 2. It happened a couple nights ago. Jimmy Butler, 27, led the Heat to an 111 and 105 win. Boston kind of choked this game. I'm not gonna lie. They led by 12 early in the fourth quarter. Going then they battle back and forth. Grant Williams hits the famous three, and on his way back to the court, he's talking shit to Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler looks back and he looks at him and just smiles. And Jimmy just responds, big bump to the chest of Grant, and one layup, and they go head to head, and they both get teed up. I would have loved if they didn't call that tee, if they just let him play, but you know what? Whatever. Like, you have to tee him. I understand it. But after the technicals, the Heat went on to outscore the Celtics 24-9 after the double techs. And after Jimmy Butler's post game interview, he's leaving the court and he says, quote, "There's no way that I thought that was the answer." Damn right, it was not the answer. Before I shit on Joe Mazzulla in a little bit, I'll give him credit for playing Grant Williams over Peyton Pritchard. Very good coaching decision. Very easy, I would have thought, but it was the right thing to do. Peyton Pritchard should not have been on the court for any of those games. For game one, I mean. But I like it. Good choice. But Jimmy Butler just turned it on after Grant started talking. After that, there was like 3 or 4 possessions in a row where Jimmy just like attacked Grant Williams and scored on him, and then they made the defensive assignment like get Grant Williams off Jimmy. He can't do it, and then Jimmy just searched for the switch and scored on him again, and then they subbed his ass out of the game. Like Jimmy's just a problem, but like obviously everyone's gonna talk about Jimmy, but this was not a Jimmy Butler game. This was not like a Jimmy takes over. He had 27. Like we're if the Celtics should be worried because he hasn't had a Jimmy Butler 40-point game yet. Like he's taken over in the fourth, but we haven't had a dominant game yet. But everyone on the Heat were fucking awesome. Like game two. It's like I am the biggest Bam Adebayo game when he's aggressive. He's so unbelievable. 22 points, 17 rebounds, 9 assists, near triple double. Big defense, switchability. He's just amazing. And then the Heat role players, man. Caleb Martin, who is the clutchest role player throughout this entire playoff. He hit the shot against the Bucks. He had 25 tonight. He's just so consistently good. It's ridiculous. And then Duncan Robinson, who has been unplayable because his shot wasn't falling and he wasn't been good on defense, but he had 15 points, 3 threes, 3 layups off assist by Bam of him just going backdoor. And then Gabe Vincent, he only had 9 points, but like that midi late game was clutch. And then Max Juice, who played amazing defense on Tatum and Brown. Like he stood Tatum up a couple times. Yeah, and speaking of Tatum, let's talk Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I don't know. They're really good. Obviously, Tatum was first team All NBA, and Jaylen Brown was all second team, right? And they're both really good players, but they're so inconsistent at the same time sometimes. Like Tatum was good through 3 quarters, disappeared in the fourth. Jaylen Brown was bad. A friend of the show, Noah Fountain, had Jaylen Brown over 3 threes, which you think would be an easy bet. But man, he was bad. And maybe if the hand injury, you can blame that. But it's just been a thing all year, and why they fell to the 2 seed after having the 1 seed the entire year. They've just been super inconsistent. And I don't know. I think it's tough when you especially have a team that lives by the three-pointer so often. Um, so in the regular season, the Celtics, 48% of their shots were three-pointers. In game and the Heat have done an excellent job, and it's clearly the game plan of running Boston off the three-point line and limiting their three-point attempts. In game 1, they shot 10 for 29, which was 34%. And they only took 29 attempts from three. The Celtics are a team that are looking to shoot 53s a game. No joke. Game 2, 10 for 35, 29%. The Heat have done an excellent job at limiting them running them off the line and just getting good looks, like good defensive looks. The Celtics they averaged 40 attempts from 3 during the regular season, and cutting that down and still getting good contests has been excellent, which brings me to how Joe Mazzulla is getting out-coached by Spo, and it's not even close. The Celtics are really gonna regret, giving Mazzulla that long-term extension after 1 year. It's not good, man. He's getting cooked. Like, the decision, like Robert Williams. Robert Williams game 2 was awesome. The pick and roll between him and Tatum was working. He had 12 points, 5 for 5, didn't miss a shot. Played 23 minutes. 23 minutes. That's the least on anyone who played during that game. He played the least of any Celtic. Al Horford played 29 minutes, shot 1 for 5, 0 for 3 from 3, and had 2 points. And he wasn't good on defense because Bam was searching for him. And at the end of that game, late in the fourth, Bam literally pulls Horford off of him. Big body, rebound, slam, clutch. I don't understand why Al Horford is in this game. Why are you not playing Robert Williams 30 minutes a game? Why did it take you so long to start him in the first place? He's the best defender on this team. Second, maybe, to Smart. I just don't understand why he's not playing more. It doesn't make sense to me. But I don't know. It's just weird. It doesn't make sense to me. And another thing that I wanted to mention was what was it? What was it? Shit. Oh, Marcus Smart's been great. He's been really good, and I'm really impressed with how offensively he stepped up when the Jays aren't playing well. But I guess one thing that people mention a lot is that it's weird that the Celtics are falling apart like this because they're a team that has had their core guys have all been in the playoffs for a long time. But I really do think it's the fact that you've had 3 different coaches during those lengthy playoff consistencies. Like, the way you play has changed. You had Brad Stevens, who was great. You had Ime Udoka, who was great. Then you have Joe Mazzulla, and you lose your head assistant, which I think was Will Hardy, which is much bigger than people are giving it credit for. So that's why I don't think the Celtics have been good. It's just tough. It's really tough for them to have any late game offense, and that's on Joe Mazzulla. He's been bad. He's just been watching The Town too much. His favorite movie. That's all he's been doing, and he hasn't been prepping for this game. It really just is Eric Spoelstra being the best coach in the NBA and having all these undrafted guys who are all the front office finding all of these undrafted guys who are all good, and he's been able to get minutes out of Kevin Love and Cody Zeller that haven't been completely negatives. It's crazy. It's ridiculous how good this Heat team is. Um, but yeah. I'm gonna take a quick break, and then I want to talk about draft lottery. The Spurs won the Victor Wembanyama lottery. Good for them. They should be interesting, man. I wonder how Victor said in his after the lottery interview with Windhorst that he's trying to win a championship as soon as possible. And recently, like the day of recording this, they reported that he's gonna get mentored by Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, the old big 3. He's gonna be great. The Spurs is a perfect situation because he's not in a super uber competitive environment. He's not on the fucking Rockets, thank God. I would have liked to see him on the Pistons or Hornets, because that would have been cool. He would have had a guy next to him already. But the Spurs are just starting to rebuild, and I don't think they have anyone that will take shots away from Wemby, other than Keldon Johnson. But it's Keldon Johnson. He can pipe down. But I like it. I like it a lot. But what's more interesting, the Hornets get their pick of Scoot or Brandon Miller. I think they should take Scoot. But that's just up to them if they think Scoot can't shoot and he's never going to be able to shoot, and it's too big of an issue for them. Then you take Brandon Miller. But the more interesting thing is the Trailblazers. I don't know. I was listening to the No Dunks podcast. Shout out to them. They're great. They Um, they were talking about how th- the possibility of keeping Dame and trading the third overall pick because you don't want to trade your franchise guy, which I understand, right? Because Dame has done a lot for the franchise. Most people go to see Trailblazers games, go see Dame. But if you ask me, how long are you willing to be mid? How long are you willing to just be okay as a franchise? Like, at some point, you have to be able to go, "This isn't working. I don't think we're gonna be able to build a team around Dame that can actually win a championship like he wants, and maybe it's time just to send him off." I don't know. I think it's time, man. I think Brandon Miller and Scoot are like, that top 3 are 3 guys that could go number 1 in any other not any other, but most other draft classes. I think if you get one of them a 3, like, obviously, that's a really good key piece to start to rebuild around Sharp, and then you trade Nurkic because he's a big that can't play defense, and that doesn't work. Maybe you trade Ant, depending on who you draft, and then you just start to rebuild because that Dame package is gonna be massive, man. It's gonna be so good. You get probably get a young guy, maybe uh, maybe a pick this year, and then, like, 3 future picks, a couple pick swaps. Like, that's a hell of a package for Dame, and the longer you wait on this, the package is just gonna go down because he's 33 now. Like this I don't know how many people are gonna be trading for a 35-year-old Dame, and he just had his best season. Like, his value is very high right now. I don't know, but I also get it, man. It's like he's the best player in franchise history, won you a lot of games, and he's still in his prime. Yeah, I'd say he's still in his prime. So I understand not wanting to trade him, but like the third pick, like if you look around realistically, who is available for the third pick this year? Everyone's saying I keep seeing unrealistic shit of Embiid. Embiid's not leaving. Like, who could you like, apparently Mikal Bridges, who would be good, is untouchable. Like, I think the best case scenario is you package that third pick and Anthony Simons and Nurkic. You send him to the Raptors for OG and Pascal. But is Damian Lillard, OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam winning you anything in the Western Conference right now? No, I don't think so. I think they're good, but I don't think anyone would pick them to go to the finals or beat, like, next year's Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Cavs, Knicks. Okay, maybe, like, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. Like, this is your time because this is the offseason for the Trailblazers that will shape the franchise for the next, like, 5 to 10 years. It really is. Either you trade Dame or you trade the third overall pick and this is your last ditch effort. This is it. This is the last time that you can truly build a team around Dame. So you have to make a decision. And it's a tough one. It really is. I don't know. Let's look around the rest of the lottery. Um, Rockets fall a 4. Good. They'll probably take a Thompson twin or trade that pick because they're probably gonna get Harden. Maybe there was. Okay, this is. Let me pull this up. I screenshotted this because I was gonna make a TikTok about it, but I'm just gonna do it in a podcast, and it might just be a TikTok clip. So there's an appetite around the NBA for James Harden landing a 4-year contract worth around $200 million. This is a public service announcement for any GM in the NBA. If you give James Harden $50 million a year, you're not gonna win shit. It's just not gonna happen. That's an awful move, and if you give James Harden $50 million, you're not gonna be competing. He has to be the best player on your team for him to sign there in the first place, and current James Harden, as the number 1 on any team, is not winning a championship. It's a bad move. So, if the Rockets are trying to get him, man, $50 million a year, like, I understand you wanna be competitive with Ime Udoka, but no, that's not a good move. And also, they just have an ego problem, and maybe bringing another young OTE kid like a Thompson twin into that building wouldn't help them that much. Maybe they trade it. But I don't know for who. I don't know for what. Maybe you package KBJ in that pick for a veteran leadership that or from a team that's trying to sell. I don't really know that who that is. I think the Pistons could be a team looking to trade that pick. I think they should just take Jarace Walker though, because he's great. And I think he fits them. Or Cam Whitmore, he also is great and fits there pretty well. I think the Pistons trading for Wiseman and Bagley was so stupid when and now you have them playing over Jalen Duren. It's like, what are we doing? You already have your guys. Like Duren's good, Ivy's good, Cade's good. Next year they should all be healthy. And how long can you just be bad before the GM is like, oh shit, I don't have much time here before they fire me. Same with the head coach. I don't even know if they have a head coach right now. I think it's still Dwayne Casey. But how long can the Pistons be bad? They have their number one pick. They already have a fourth. They have a fifth. Like they need to start being good now. Very happy the Wizards didn't get Wemby. That would have been bad. I'm glad they didn't. Um, Good for the Hornets. I already mentioned them. Trying to think. The Mavericks keep their pick. They're not drafting there. They're trading there for someone if they keep Kyrie, because still rumors about Kyrie going to the Lakers. All of sports media is just talking about the Lakers, and I'm over it, man. They suck. They stink. That's why the Nuggets are outclassing them. But yeah, nothing going on really in the NFL. I'm gonna try to transition to that, but there's nothing really happening, honestly. Um, Eagles are gonna be good. I'll say that. That's gonna be it for me today. Thank you for listening to the Hotshot podcast. We should have another episode going up later this week. Jacob will be back. We'll talk about, let's see, probably game 3 and then game 4, depending on when we record this. I don't really know, but I appreciate you listening and watching, wherever you find this. Check out the TikTok, Twitter, linked in the bio. I got a blog. I'm gonna start writing more articles, posting it up there if you all care. And check that out. I appreciate it. Peace.